I am not in China and I have no Chinese friends to talk to. How can I improve my spoken Chinese by myself?
I have passed the HSK Level 2, but I still get stuck on some very simple communication. How to solve it?
Ni hao, 我是 Leslie. From May to today, we have 30 videos on our channel. Thank you so much for your support. In traditional Chinese culture, the numbers 3, 6, and 9 are regarded as auspicious numbers with special meanings, representing the balance of yin and yang between the heaven and earth, and the harmony of the universe. The 3 lines of the Chinese character 3 represent the unity of heaven, earth, and man. Both 6 and 9 are multiples of 3, representing accumulation, continuation, and growth. Therefore, the new video starting today will also add new topics. Previous videos focused on listening exercises for daily conversations and introducing native Chinese expressions. I saw you like this content. So, all of this will continue. The new addition is that I want to share with you how to improve your spoken Chinese quickly. It can make your Chinese expression more free, more fluent, and more accurate. We all know that to learn a new language well, we must listen and speak more. You may want to say, Leslie, I'm not in China, and there are no Chinese people around me to practice speaking fluently. How can I improve my Chinese speaking alone? Your idea does have some truth, but an all-Chinese environment is not the only condition for improving Chinese proficiency. At my school, there are often some international students studying Chinese at universities to participate in our classes. When I first noticed this situation, I asked them why they still came to my school for additional studies. Their answer surprised me, because when they were in university classes, the teachers mostly only spoke in Chinese and explained all in Chinese. After class, they had to face textbooks and assignments with only Chinese characters. Because they are beginners, this approach had caused them repeated setbacks. Even passionate learners may feel frustrated and just want to give up. This teaching method actually stems from a popular method of children learning language, which means that when learning Chinese, it is best for learners to forget their mother tongue or English, which is the true language they have already mastered, and completely immerse themselves in the Chinese environment, just like a child learning, so their Chinese listening and speaking abilities will naturally improve quickly. I believe many Chinese learners, including you, have been informed of this method, which is why you feel that it's difficult to improve your listening and Chinese expression skills without a Chinese environment. But the facts I have seen have continuously proven that this method is not so effective for adult beginners to learn Chinese. The reason why those international students came to my school is because all of our explanations and exercises are comparing expression differences between English and Chinese. Instead of being a barrier to learning Chinese, their ability to communicate in English helps them to progress faster. Upon hearing this, you may ask, Leslie, you speak so much English in class. Do you make students rely on thinking in English and then translating into Chinese when they speak Chinese? Won't the speed of Chinese communication be slowed down? Indeed, compared to the Chinese native communication way of Chinese to Chinese, the learner's Chinese to native language or English to Chinese approach seems a bit slow. But for beginners of any language, isn't it the instinct of every learner to learn something new with the help of their mother tongue or English? When I just started learning English, whenever my English teacher asked me questions, I would first translate the English question into Chinese in my mind, then think of a good answer in Chinese, and then translate it into English and spit out. It sounds like my brain is a translation machine, specialized in handling the conversion between English and Chinese. But this is a common way of thinking for language learners. Even those who have reached the intermediate or advanced level of Chinese proficiency, when encounter a new Chinese word, their first reaction is to look up a general Chinese-English dictionary, rather than looking at a Chinese dictionary to understand Chinese in Chinese. This shows that understanding Chinese in one's native language or English is an effective learning method, but also impossible to stop. After I fully understood the important role of English in Chinese learning, all my teaching methods and courses have a new principle. That is, since the common learning method for beginners is the process of Chinese to English and then to Chinese, if the conversion time between Chinese and English can be shortened enough, English and Chinese will overlap. In the minds of beginners, when the Chinese meaning of a word is completely equivalent to the English meaning, they could think in the same way as native speakers. So, all the exercises we prepare for junior students, whether it's listening, speaking, or writing, will have both English and Chinese characters or pinyin. The information is input into the brain through the eyes, ears, mouth, and hands at the same time. And then the Chinese answer is output after the conversion between Chinese and English. This process of converting between Chinese and English is constantly strengthened through extensive practice. At a certain moment, this transition can be completed in almost 0.01 seconds. So our students' Chinese expression will be as fluent as their English communication. This achieves the goal of daily free communication. After that, as long as students continue to learn more native Chinese expressions, they will be able to discuss many complex topics with Chinese people and express their opinions accurately. Having explained the basic principles of my method, I will now show you an example of how our students practice their spoken Chinese through the simplest Chinese learning, memorizing words. Students gradually build up their oral Chinese ability while reviewing the words by themselves. The more words they learn, the better their spoken Chinese will be. Is that what you are hoping for? Now I'm going to show you what the video vocabulary list looks like for our students. Yes, our vocabulary is all videos, not just paper. Why must it be a video? Let's take a look at the content of the word birthday.
生日，生日，这个周末是我妈妈的生日。你的生日是几月几号？这个盒子里面有生日礼物。
First, after you see the English meaning, you have to say Chinese, 生日. It doesn't matter if you forget it, because the second part is a standard pronunciation reading, and you can follow it. The third part is 3 English sentences. You need to say Chinese meaning of each one. Do you find this step a little difficult? Indeed, how quickly you can say the Chinese meaning of each sentence depends on the speed of translation in your mind. When our students started using this list of the lesson 1, they often needed to pause the video to think for a while and then say the Chinese sentences. In the lesson 2, the English sentences we gave repeated the words and the grammar in the lesson 1, and the content of the previous 2 lessons will be repeated in the lesson 3. After such constant repetition and accumulation, the speed of Chinese and English conversion in their minds will become faster and faster. By the 6th and 7th lessons, they could blurt out Chinese sentences without thinking. This is what I said earlier. Chinese and English overlap in your memory, your spoken Chinese will as smooth as a Chinese speaker. Of course, in addition to be able to speak a Chinese meaning quickly, you must ensure you speak correctly. In the third part, you can hear the correct sentence order for each sentence.
这个周末是我妈妈的生日。你的生日是几月几号？这个盒子里面有生日礼物。
You can check your words, review your grammar, and read aloud to improve your Chinese pronunciation. From saying the word 生日 to complete 3 Chinese sentences, you follow our practice to train your mouth, eyes, ears, and brain to work in sync. Look, you are able to practice spoken Chinese all by yourself. It's much more efficient than memorizing words from a Chinese textbook, right? You may also be wondering why there are no Chinese characters in our video word list. Because this is a list for beginners. Their way of thinking is still the translation between Chinese and English meaning. The addition of Chinese characters does not help to reinforce this transformation and only interferes with the learner's attention. So the vocabulary video for the beginner course is only Pinyin and English. Those who have been following our channel must remember that at the beginning of daily dialogue listening practice, we only put English translation in the answer part at the end of each exercise to accompany the dialogue reading. We didn't add Chinese character translation until we saw someone suggested it. It's for the same reason. Let's look at one more word.
船，船。下个星期我和家人从上海坐船去日本。这个船上一共有几个房间？这个船上有咖啡馆、餐厅、健身房、酒吧和超市。
Through the above 2 examples, it can be clearly seen that even learning alone can improve the ability of listening and speaking Chinese. For beginners, we have compiled a list of more than 1,000 of the most common words used in everyday communication. Starting from the first page, step by step, each word is repeated over and over again, and your listening and speaking ability for everyday topics will gradually increase until you are comfortable with them. I will share these word videos here later. If you are not fluent enough in spoken Chinese, you can practice with them. If you already have the level of HSK 3 or above, I will also bring more topics to support you to practice more complex Chinese expressions when you study alone. I believe this approach has enabled our students to communicate fluently in Chinese, and so will you.